you ever feel the immense pressure to have all the answers? In a world that often rewards certainty, the simple phrase, "I don't know," can feel like an admission of failure. We carry this unspoken burden, a heavy cloak of expectation, believing that knowledge is a fortress and uncertainty, a weakness. But what if this perception is a grand illusion, obscuring a profound source of strength? Imagine a world where admitting ignorance isn't a source of shame, but a spark for curiosity. A world where the humility of not knowing opens doors to deeper understanding and more authentic connections. This isn't a far-off utopia. It's a shift in perspective, a hidden power accessible to us all, championed by one of history's greatest thinkers. We journey back, not just in time, but into the heart of a revolutionary idea. Our guide is Socrates, an ancient Greek philosopher whose wisdom continues to resonate through millennia. He wasn't known for providing easy answers, but for asking profound questions, challenging assumptions, and ultimately, for understanding the immense power held within acknowledging what we do not know. Socrates lived in Athens, a city brimming with self-proclaimed experts and sophists who prided themselves on their knowledge. Yet the oracle at Delphi, a revered source of wisdom, declared Socrates the wisest man in all of Greece. This pronouncement puzzled Socrates, for he believed he knew very little. This paradox is the key. Driven by this divine puzzle, Socrates embarked on a quest. He sought out poets, politicians, and craftsmen, those renowned for their wisdom. He engaged them in dialogue, not to lecture, but to learn. Through careful questioning, he often found that their confident claims to knowledge were, in fact, built on shaky foundations. What Socrates discovered was profound. Many people believed they understood complex concepts like justice, beauty, or virtue, yet they couldn't articulate their understanding coherently when pressed. They mistook familiarity for comprehension, assumption for knowledge. This realization was the dawn of his own unique wisdom. And so Socrates arrived at his famous conclusion, "All I know is that I know nothing." This wasn't a statement of nihilism or despair. It was an acknowledgement of the vastness of the unknown and the limitations of his own understanding. It was, in essence, the foundation of true intellectual humility. The wisdom in "I know that I know nothing" lies in its honesty. It's the crucial first step. By admitting ignorance, Socrates cleared the path for genuine inquiry. He understood that if you believe you already possess all the answers, you will never seek new ones. The cup must be empty to be filled. This brings us to the core of our exploration, the power of saying, "I don't know." Why is this simple admission so transformative? Because it dismantles the facade of false certainty. It frees us from the exhausting charade of pretending to be omniscient, a role none of us can truly sustain. In our daily lives, the pressure to know is immense. At work, in social gatherings, even within our families, we often feel compelled to project an image of competence and knowledge. This pressure can be subtle yet pervasive, shaping our interactions and even our internal monologue. Think about a time you felt cornered, asked a question you couldn't answer. What was your immediate reaction? Was it discomfort? A flutter of panic? Perhaps a desperate scramble to conjure up something, anything that sounded plausible? This reaction is common, born from a deep-seated fear. We fear that saying, "I don't know," will make us appear foolish, incompetent, or unprepared. We worry it might diminish our authority or disappoint those who look to us for guidance. This fear is a powerful inhibitor, often pushing us towards intellectual dishonesty, however minor. The ego plays a significant role here. Our sense of self can become entangled with what we know, or what we think we know. To admit ignorance can feel like a blow to our identity, a crack in the carefully constructed image we present to the world. But Socrates shows us another way. For him, "I don't know" wasn't an endpoint but a powerful catalyst. It was the ignition switch for curiosity. When you acknowledge you don't know something, you naturally become more receptive to learning it, to exploring it. Imagine a vast, unlit library filled with scrolls of forgotten wisdom. Saying, "I don't know," is like striking a match in that darkness. Suddenly, paths to knowledge are illuminated. Questions arise, not from a place of anxiety, but from genuine wonder. This Socratic humility fosters true learning. When we think we know it all, our minds are closed. We filter information to confirm our existing beliefs. But "I don't know" opens the mind, making it fertile ground for new ideas, perspectives, and deeper understanding. Consider how children learn. They are masters of saying, "I don't know," or more often, "Why?" Their curiosity is boundless because they haven't yet learned to be ashamed of their ignorance. They embrace the unknown as a playground for discovery. We can reclaim this. In our relationships, saying, "I don't know" can build profound trust and authenticity. Pretending to have answers we don't possess creates a subtle barrier. Honesty, even in uncertainty, fosters genuine connection. It invites collaboration rather than competition. When someone admits, "I don't know" to you, how does it make you feel? Often, it can be disarming, making the person seem more approachable, more human. It gives you permission to also be vulnerable, to also admit your own uncertainties. This isn't about celebrating ignorance for its own sake. It's about recognizing that the acknowledgement of ignorance is the gateway. It's the difference between a stagnant pond, convinced of its own depth, and a flowing river, constantly seeking the ocean. The Socratic method itself is built on this principle. Socrates would ask a series of questions, not to trap his interlocutor, but to guide them towards recognizing the limits of their own knowledge, and from there, towards a more reasoned understanding. It's a cooperative exploration. Think of problem solving. If you approach a complex challenge convinced you already know the solution, you might miss crucial information or alternative pathways. Saying, "I don't know the answer yet," opens you up to exploring multiple possibilities, to thinking outside the box. The phrase "I don't know" is often followed by a powerful conjunction, but. I don't know, but I'm willing to find out. I don't know, but let's explore this together. This transforms the statement from a dead end into an invitation for growth and action. This humility counters the intellectual arrogance that can stifle progress and create conflict. When we are too attached to being right, we stop listening. "I don't know" can be a disarming tool, paving the way for more productive and less adversarial dialogue. Scientific discovery itself thrives on "I don't know." Every hypothesis begins with an unanswered question, an acknowledgement of existing ignorance. It is the engine of innovation, pushing the boundaries of human understanding precisely because scientists dare to venture into the unknown. The relief that comes from shedding the burden of omniscience is palpable. Imagine the energy freed up when you no longer have to maintain a facade of knowing everything. This energy can then be channeled into genuine learning, creativity, and presence. Saying "I don't know" is not a sign of weakness, but of profound intellectual courage. It takes strength to be vulnerable, to stand in your truth, especially when that truth is uncertainty. It's an act of rebellion against the tyranny of feigned expertise. This Socratic stance allows us to be better listeners. When we aren't busy formulating our expert response, we can truly hear what others are saying. We absorb more, understand more deeply, and connect more meaningfully. It also protects us from the pitfalls of dogma. When we are certain we possess the ultimate truth, we become rigid, closed off to new perspectives. "I don't know" keeps the door ajar for nuance, for complexity, for the evolving nature of understanding. The power of "I don't know" is not about remaining ignorant, but about embracing the process of knowing. It's about valuing the journey of discovery as much as, if not more than, the destination of certainty. A journey Socrates himself embodied. So, how do we begin to cultivate this Socratic power in our own lives? It starts with awareness. Notice the moments when you feel the pressure to know, when you're tempted to bluff or deflect. Recognize that internal discomfort. The next step is to practice. Start in low-stakes situations. If a friend asks about a book you haven't read, instead of vaguely nodding, try, I don't know much about that one. What are your thoughts? Observe the response, both theirs and your own. Reframe, I don't know, not as a failure, but as an opportunity. I don't know the answer to that right now, but I'm curious to find out. This simple addition transforms the phrase into a proactive statement of intent. In professional settings, this can be incredibly powerful. Admitting, I don't have that data on hand, but I can get it for you, is far more effective than guessing or providing misinformation. It builds credibility and demonstrates responsibility. When leading others, embracing, I don't know, can foster a culture of psychological safety. If leaders are open about their own limits, it empowers team members to do the same, leading to more honest communication and collaborative problem-solving. This practice also cultivates patience with ourselves as we learn, and patience with the often slow and winding path to understanding. True wisdom isn't instantaneous. It's cultivated over time, through persistent, humble inquiry. By saying, I don't know, we invite others to share their knowledge. It can be a generous act, allowing someone else to step into the role of teacher or expert. This exchange enriches both parties and strengthens bonds. Remember, Socrates was condemned for corrupting the youth and impiety, largely because his questioning challenged the established certainties of his time. His commitment to intellectual honesty, to I don't know, was radical then, and it remains profoundly so today. The comfort of certainty can be a gilded cage. It feels safe, but it limits our growth. Embracing the discomfort of I don't know is stepping out of that cage into a wider, more wondrous world of possibility. This Socratic approach is not about abandoning the pursuit of knowledge. Quite the opposite. It is about pursuing it more effectively, more honestly, and with a greater sense of wonder. It's about being a lifelong learner. Consider the areas in your life where you cling to certainty. Are there beliefs or opinions you hold tightly, perhaps without thorough examination? What might happen if you approached them with a Socratic, I don't know, yet? This practice can lead to profound personal insights. By admitting we don't know ourselves fully, we open the door to self-discovery, to understanding our own biases, motivations, and the deeper currents of our inner lives. The phrase, I don't know, creates space. Space for thought, space for others to speak, space for new information to enter. In our fast-paced world, such space is a precious commodity, essential for reflection and true understanding. It can also be a powerful tool in navigating complex ethical dilemmas. When faced with a moral quandary, admitting, I don't know the right answer here, is a more responsible starting point than rushing to a premature judgment. It encourages careful consideration. The opposite of I don't know isn't always knowledge. Sometimes it's dogma or prejudice. The courage to question what we think we know is a hallmark of an open and evolving mind, a mind resistant to stagnation. Saying I don't know is an act of intellectual generosity. It signals to others that you value truth over ego, inquiry over assertion. It makes you a more trusted collaborator and a more engaging conversationalist. This doesn't mean becoming passive or indecisive. It means basing decisions on genuine inquiry rather than unexamined assumptions. It means being willing to say, I need more information before I can form a conclusion. The world is infinitely complex. No single individual can ever hope to grasp all its intricacies. Embracing, I don't know, is simply aligning ourselves with this fundamental reality, exchanging the illusion of control for the power of adaptability. In a society saturated with information, often conflicting, the wisdom of I don't know becomes even more crucial. It helps us sift through the noise, to question sources, and to resist the allure of easy, definitive answers to complex problems. Socrates' legacy is not a set of doctrines, but a method of inquiry, a posture towards the world. He taught us that the wisest among us are those who remain students for life, ever curious, ever open to the vastness of what they have yet to learn. Consider the feeling of relief when you finally admit, "I don't know." It's like setting down a heavy weight you didn't realize you were carrying. This isn't just an intellectual shift, it's an emotional one, bringing a sense of lightness and freedom. This practice extends beyond factual knowledge. "I don't know how I feel right now," or "I don't know what to do in this situation," are also powerful admissions. They open us to introspection, to seeking support, and to navigating emotions with greater honesty. When we are brave enough to say, "I don't know," we often find that others are relieved. We grant them permission to be imperfect, to be learners alongside us. This shared vulnerability can transform relationships and team dynamics. The fear of judgment is often worse than the judgment itself. More often than not, people respect honesty. The person who can confidently say, "I don't know, but I'll find out," often garners more respect than someone who bluffs their way through. Cultivating Socratic humility means becoming comfortable with ambiguity. Life rarely offers black and white answers. Learning to reside in the gray areas, to tolerate uncertainty, is a sign of intellectual maturity and resilience. Think of "I don't know" not as a deficit but as a space for wonder, a space for growth, a space where new possibilities can be born. It is the fertile void from which creativity springs. This isn't about feigning ignorance when you do know something. It's about genuine self-assessment. It's about intellectual integrity, representing your state of knowledge accurately, both to yourself and to others. True confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from trusting your ability to learn, to adapt, and to navigate uncertainty. "I don't know" can be spoken with profound confidence when it's rooted in this deeper self-trust. This Socratic principle is timeless. In an age of AI and instant information, the ability to discern what we truly understand versus what we can merely access is more critical than ever. "I don't know" prompts deeper engagement than a superficial search query. So the power of "I don't know" is not a passive stance. It is an active embrace of humility as the foundation for wisdom. It is the courage to question, the willingness to learn, and the honesty to admit our limits. It allows for intellectual agility. When you're not welded to a fixed position of knowing, you can pivot, adapt to new information, and evolve your understanding without feeling like you've lost or been wrong. This journey into "I don't know" is a journey towards greater authenticity. When we stop pretending, we allow our true selves to emerge, fostering deeper connections with others and a more peaceful relationship with ourselves. Every great thinker, every innovator, every true explorer has stood at the precipice of the unknown and acknowledged their lack of knowledge before taking the leap. "I don't know" is the silent acknowledgement before discovery. The Socratic path is not about accumulating facts, but about cultivating a certain kind of mind, a mind that is curious, critical, humble, and brave, a mind that finds joy in the pursuit of understanding. Let us then reevaluate our relationship with uncertainty. Instead of fearing it, let us see it as Socrates did, as an invitation to question, to explore, to learn, and ultimately to grow wiser. The power of "I don't know" lies in its profound simplicity and its transformative potential. It's a key that unlocks the doors of perception, allowing us to see beyond the confines of our current understanding. This is not a sign of intellectual deficiency, but of intellectual honesty and courage. It is the fertile ground from which all true learning springs, the quiet admission that precedes every great discovery. By embracing "I don't know," we shed the heavy burden of pretense and step into the liberating space of genuine inquiry. We become more open, more curious, and more connected to the world and people around us. The wisdom of Socrates reminds us that true understanding is a journey, not a destination. "I don't know" is simply the honest acknowledgement of where we stand on that unending path, ready for the next step. So the next time you face the unknown, resist the urge to feign certainty. Instead, embrace the Socratic power. Say, "I don't know," and then with open curiosity ask, "What can I learn?" This simple phrase, "I don't know," when uttered with courage and humility, is not an end to conversation, but the beginning of a deeper exploration, a testament to our willingness to engage authentically with the mystery of existence. The power, then, is not in the knowing, but in the honest seeking. It is in the humility to admit our limits and the courage to continually push beyond them, guided by questions rather than by premature answers.